Peter Zalmayev joins us now from New York. He's the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, an organization dedicated to the promotion of democracy and human rights in post-communist societies. Good to have you with us. At the time, I remember when Russia invaded Georgia, there wasn't a strong international response, was there? I mean, certainly the US didn't intervene. Why was that?
Well, the problem with that response was that it was inconsistent. First, when the invasion happened, Western powers, NATO allies reacted quite strongly, did a lot of chest bumping, threatened to even kick Russia out of the G8. But then, after a few months, things went back to normal. Western leaders went on visits to Moscow, signed treaties with Russia, and NATO started talking about re-engaging with Moscow, which eventually encouraged, I think, Putin down the road that in a sense that his belligerent actions in the region would go unpunished.
So you think Georgia marked the starting point of Russia becoming more emboldened, and from there, that led to Crimea, Ukraine?
I think absolutely. Well, if you look at the case of Georgia and you compare it with the case of Ukraine, both countries were former Soviet republics, obviously, and both of them expressed a desire to join the Western liberal world order by whether joining NATO, in the case of both Ukraine and Russia and Georgia, but also to join the European Union. Both had revolutions, the so-called color revolutions in 2003 and 2004. Putin considered these republics and the processes occurring there as a threat to his hold on power in Russia. So after what happened in Georgia and in the sense of being unpunished for it, I think Putin felt like he could get away with a similar thing in Ukraine.
And we've got a situation today where there are still tensions between Moscow and Georgia. Moscow has said that there will be conflict if Georgia is accepted as a member of NATO. So how do you see this playing out?
Well, I think Russia continues to see NATO as an existential threat. And once again, it went as far as invading Georgia and Ukraine in order to prevent, I think, that from happening. I believe that the ball is now in NATO's court. I am not sure that NATO has an appetite for expansion. Even going back to 2008, the talks between Tbilisi and Brussels, NATO powers, were inconclusive. I do not believe that in the near future we can expect either Georgia or Ukraine to join NATO.
Peter, good to get your thoughts there. Thank you very much indeed for that. Peter Zalmayev there in New York.